and the levy was later found unconstitutional. It will lead to complications in refunding the deducted monies.
The Court of Appeal, led by three-judge bench, sided with the High Court's decision that the housing levy was unconstitutional, thereby stopping deductions. The judges, while dismissing the government's appeal, argued that if the stay was granted and the levy was later found unconstitutional, it would lead to complications in refunding the deducted monies. The housing levy was also found to have targeted only those with payslips, a process which the court argued was unfair. The ruling comes as a relief to some Kenyan employees, but a setback for the government's plan to fund affordable housing initiatives. Introduced as part of Finance Act 2023, the housing levy aimed to fund affordable housing by imposing 1.5% levy on Kenyan employees. In its judgment on November 28, 2023, the High Court had declared the housing levy unconstitutional, citing discrimination as the funds are being remitted by Kenyans in formal employment only. Rishuke Washira, Lunchtime News.
And on that note, I want to take you live to the Milimani Law Courts, where I do understand we do have our reporter Ruth Wamboi. Ruth, good afternoon. We have had major developments from the corridors of justice this afternoon. It's not just the housing levy, but also we do understand the ongoing case of Jackie Maribe and Joey. And also give us a brief on that particular ruling that has just been made on the deployment of 1,000 police officers to Haiti.
Thank you so much, Abdiaziz, back from the studio. We are here live at the Milimani Law Courts. Today it has been a running of helter-skelter for me here from the Court of Appeal to the High Court. And we saw in the morning at around 10 a.m. The Court of Appeal released a judgment about the housing levy, and it declined to grant the stay orders that had been sought by the government, which had gone to the Court of Appeal after feeling it was not pleasured with the decision that was given out by the High Court. So the Court of Appeal has given out its verdict today, and it has declined to give the government the stay orders that it had went to court to sort for. Again, a few minutes later at around noon, we also had the Jackie Maribe's case at the High Court before Justice Grace Nzioka, who the judgment for the late businessman Monica Kimani, who was murdered in 2018, the judgment was to be delivered today, but it was postponed until 15th March 2024, when the court will give the judgment. This is after Jackie Maribe, who is the second accused in the court, applied through his lawyer Katwa Kigen to have the judgment postponed, citing she was unwell and had gone to hospital. So the Justice Nzioka said that now that Maribe said she needed 7 days so that she told the court that she would be okay after 7 days. The court allowed the adjournment, but the judge's diary is full to the brim. So she said the whole of February she will not be able to deliver the judgment. She will now come to Nairobi from Naivasha, because she's a presiding judge at Naivasha Locus. Now she will come back to Nairobi on 15th of March to deliver the judgment. So it's a justice delayed for the families, who are now saying that the judgment is taking too long. Remember, it was postponed again in December when the judgment was to be delivered, but that time it was on the side of the court that was not ready. But today it is the second accused who was not ready. The first accused, Joseph Irungu alias Joey, was in court, but now for a judgment to be delivered, all the suspects must be in court. So we wait until 15th March for that judgment. And again, it's a blow to the government. At the High Court today, Justice Chacha Mwita has has said that the deployment of their 1,000 police officers to Haiti is illegal, and that the government and the National Council cannot go ahead and deploy the police officers to Haiti. So that one is a major blow to the government, as it will have to go back to the drawing board and see what to do next, because the decision or the orders that has been given by Justice Chacha Mwita have decided that the move by the government was illegal. So those are some of the stories that have been following up in court today, and I will file a detailed report at our subsequent bulletin. Back to you.
Thank you so much. That is our reporter Ruth Wambui just informing us on those three major cases, one from the Court of Appeal and two from the lower courts that has just transpired at the corridors of justice. Of course, more in our subsequent bulletins. Now, members of the Fourth Estate across the country are mourning following the demise of one of our own, that is Dickens Wesonga, who is a star journalist. And on top of that, he is the Kisumu Journalist Network chair who died in a grisly road accident. To just brief us on what transpired is our reporter Wycliffe, who is currently in Kisumu. Wycliffe, what more can you tell us about this grisly accident that happened this morning?
Thank you so much, Abdi. It is quite a sad day for the media fraternity, and especially as the Kisumu Journalist Network. As you can see right where we are, this is Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Teaching and Referral Hospital, to be specific. It is we are at the morgue section, where just behind me is where the departed star journalist Dickens Wesonga, the body is lying right here, as the family, friends and colleagues continue to stream here since morning to view the body of the departed journalist. And according to the details we've been able to gather from the traffic enforcement officers, is that this is a road accident that occurred early this morning, to be specific, at around 6:30 in the morning. And since then, colleagues, friends, and family members have been streaming here. To just view the body of Dickens Wesonga, who just assumed office as the chairperson of the Kisumu Journalist Network after an election that was held in November. And of course, Dickens has been, being that he was a prolific writer, he was known by so many people, among them the CES ICT, that is Eliud Owalo, who was also made his way here just a few minutes ago, to pay his last respect to Dickens Wesonga. And Governor Nyong'o is among the people that have mourned the departed journalist, as a prolific professional and a versatile writer who actually covered quite a wide range of stories, ranging from investigative stories to development stories, and that informs the sad mood here in Kisumu. And before I continue much, let me just engage one of his colleagues who has worked with Dickens for quite long, probably also to share with us how he feels this afternoon following the loss of Dickens Wesonga. Brother, if you just look into the camera, tell us for how long have you known Dickens Wesonga, and now that he's gone, what would you tell the colleagues and the family?
By name, I'm Jacob Oiti. I'm a journalist, a Kisumu-based journalist. I've worked with Dickens for many years. Actually, I woke up this morning to a sad news that Dickens passed on. Actually, I'm here at the morgue to view the body, which I've seen actually got a terrible accident. I have to tell my friends that we should pull up together. Having elected Dickens recently as a chairman, at this time of grief, we should be together and maybe see how much we can support the family. Dickens has worked with so many media houses across almost all the media houses in Kisumu. He has a wealth of experience. And actually, when we voted him recently to take up the chairmanship, yesterday I called him. We talked at around 8:30 in the morning. It's interesting that that could have been a premonition. When he spoke, he told me so much about the plans he has for the network in Kisumu. We discussed a variety of things that he's intending to put in place. And when it happened that he passed on, actually, it's so sad, really.
Well, it's very sad, not just to the media fraternity, but also to the family. And speaking about the family, Abdi, the family members continue to come here. Actually, Dickens himself hails from Siaya, and right here we are, this is Kisumu, and the family are on the way, still coming. We understand the spouse is in Nairobi and is also planning to travel to Kisumu just to view the body of the departed husband. And right now the body still lies here, and the sister that had come here earlier has just gone to seek the permission of the police to have a postmortem conducted on the body to determine the exact cause of the death of Dickens Wasonga. Earlier on, I managed to speak with an auntie that is the only family member that is right here right now, but she is emotional indeed, understandably, and is just unable to speak on set. But then she says Dickens himself was a jovial family man, and actually he leaves behind a very young family, a spouse and 2 children of a school-going age. And right here, we're still here, just to wait for the post-mortem exercise to be conducted on the body so that we may be able to determine exactly, exactly what caused the death of Dickens. We understand he was involved in an accident, and of course the procedures of determining the cause, the exact cause of death, that is the procedure that we are waiting for here. Well, it is a sad moment, not just for us here in Kisumu, but for the entire media fraternity. And as KBC, we only say pole to the family, and may Dickens' soul rest in peace. I hand it back to you, Abdi, back in studio.
Thank you so much, Wycliffe, for that particular update. Indeed, rest in peace, Dickens, and of course, condolences to the family and the media fraternity at large. Thank you for that particular update. Expect more in our subsequent bulletins. Now, in other news, South Imenti Member of Parliament has committed to strengthen the bilateral ties. Let me take that once more. The South Imenti Member of Parliament, Shadrach Muiti, has urged President William Ruto to unite the leadership of Meru County, insisting that the persistent squabbles being witnessed was slowing down the developments in the devolved unit. The lawmaker has called for political tolerance, asking warring political parties to refrain from disrupting the presidential development towards South Imenti. Deputy County Commissioner Mary Mwangi has noted the security apparatus will extremely be vigilant to maintain order.
I'm sure and convinced the differences are not permanent. They are just artificial differences and political differences. And let's not look at politics. Let's look forward to uplifting the common people, the people of Meru, to make them better day after day.
So for the leaders, our leaders, we keep, as a national government, we keep telling them we need them to dialogue so that once they unite very fast, and then the people will work together. That is our call as a national government. And now overseas, the Republic of India has committed to strengthen bilateral relations with Kenya in various sectors, including agriculture, education and infrastructure development. Indian High Commissioner to Kenya, Namaga Hampa, notes that the cordial relationship between the two nations was further cemented during President William Ruto's recent visit. President Ruto's visit to the Asian state, noting that besides the agricultural sector, she was speaking in Nairobi during the celebration to mark the 75th Republic Day, which commemorates the adoption of the Constitution of India on the 26th of January 1950.
Cooperation in multiple other areas. Technology, for instance, both sides signed an agreement, an understanding as part of the visit. Space technology is another area. I was mentioning to you, we are doing a lot in the area of space. And again, we are looking at capacity building for Kenya Space Agency and Kenyan space scientists in the area of space. Investments, we're looking at bringing in more Indian investments into Kenya in the manufacturing space, in the healthcare space.
Elsewhere, the United States of America has expressed its commitment to working with Kenya to enhance access to quality health care. According to the U.S. Ambassador to Kenya, Meg Whiteman, quality health care is the foundation of a strong, thriving community, adding that her team at the U.S. Embassy was proud to join hands with Kenyan leaders who give priority to health matters. Siaya Governor James Orengo hailed the cordial relations between the United States and Kenya, saying that this has over the years benefited the residents of both countries.
We have several programs and projects in the health sector dealing with HIV prevention, TB, cancer, and malaria. And over the years, we had this partnership going many years.
You have a partner in the United States of America. We care a lot about what happens here. We're excited about the opening of the operating theater at the hospital that we're going to soon. And it's always great for me to be out in the counties.
The Kenya-China Alumni Association has come up with an initiative dubbed Chinese Mashinani in the country to benefit children from rural areas. Speaking at the Chinese Embassy in Kenya, Dr. Henry Rotich, the chairman of the China Alumni Association, said the initiative intends to reach every child with free online Chinese lessons as a way to promote friendship between the two countries.
Because they have also been helping. Just a few days after Chinese President Xi Jinping replied to a letter from representatives of Kenyan students and alumni at Beijing Jiangtong University, encouraging them to continue contributing to the friendship between China and Kenya. The alumni and students gathered at different venues to thank and respond to the president's reply.
And we were shocked. Obviously, we were shocked. We did not even think he would even take the time to read it.
It shows that he cares for other countries, not just his own people, but also the people of Kenya.
So with that, we are able to get the motivation to be able to increase the relationship that we have between us, between Kenya and China.
At the Chinese Embassy in Kenya, the alumni came up with an initiative dubbed Chinese Mashinani that will help promote Kenya-China friendship and cooperation.
We believe as the alumni that no child should be left behind. They should have an opportunity to learn Chinese like those who can afford to go to schools. We've agreed that we will offer some voluntary time to do online teaching.
Here are the reasons why they chose to write a letter to President Xi Jinping.
So we opted to send a letter to the president to tell him how our education has been, to explain to him all that we have gained, all that we've learned, and at the same time what we can do to help establish our country.
Minister Councillor Zhang Xinzhong said that the letter by the Chinese president portrays the cordial relationship between Kenya and China.
The letter from His Excellency President Xi reflects the great importance China attaches to the China-Kenya friendship, to the bilateral cooperations on Belt and Road Initiative.
More than 600 years on, the Belt and Road Initiative is helping to turn the development and revitalization of China and Kenya from a dream to reality.
Meanwhile, at the Confucius Institute of the University of Nairobi, students have converged to be enlightened on the upcoming scholarship application to China.
The response letter by the Chinese President Xi Jinping has come as an inspiration to Kenyan students who now seek scholarship opportunities in China with an intention to act as a bridge for lasting friendship between the two countries. Pauline Nasimiu for KBC Channel 1 at the Chinese Embassy in Kenya.
Thank you, Pauline, for that particular story. Let's head over to the coastal region where the county government says vandalism of infrastructure is impeding efforts to make the country water secure. County Executive Committee member for Water, Omar Said, says residents must be the first line of defense in the protection of the vital infrastructure. Omar says the county is committed to sinking more boreholes across the region to enable residents to access water easily.
Kilifi County nzima kumekuwa na changamoto la uwizi wa mita, na pia tumeweza kushirikiana na idara husika ya polisi kufanya uchunguzi angalau tujue hizi mita zikiibiwa zinapelekwa wapi.
Pata maji tena tunanunua. Sasa hii tunashukuru hii boholi venye ilikuja. Tutasaidika, yani kama kutakuwa kumetokezea mradi mwingine kuhusiana na maji, si kama wamama tutashukuru zaidi.
Tunaomba kabisa hasa department hii ya maji iwe inaweza kuangazia ndani kabisa kwa vijiji vingine pia ambayo vinapata dakika hii pia viko na shida ya maji. Kwa hivyo watu kufanya namna hiyo tutashukuru sana.
Chief Justice Martha Koome has made a clarion call to the National Lands Commission to uphold the rule of law and restore public trust and confidence in the Commission. In a speech delivered by Justice Smokin Wanjala during the launch of the National Land Commission Investigation and Inquiry Practitioners Guide, the Commission was further urged to embrace the guidelines to expediting land cases to reduce case backlog.
Ladies and gentlemen,
the launch of the National Land Commission Investigation and Inquiry Practitioners Guide heralds a new era at the National Lands Commission. Justice Smokin Wanjala, representing the Chief Justice, highlighted the thorny issues in the land sector, calling on the National Lands Commission to use the guideline to streamline services and inspire public trust.
By equipping NLC practitioners with this invaluable resource, we empower them to root out injustice and uphold the rule of law, to resolve disputes efficiently and definitively, to restore trust and confidence in the land government system, to build a stronger, more equitable future for all Kenyans.
Justice Wanjala further called for expeditious dispensation of land cases as the presiding judge, Environment and Land Division, Oscar Angote, called for proper legislation to streamline the sector.
Let us not sugarcoat the facts. We have a backlog of cases. Thousands of Kenyans wait years, some even decades, for justice to be served. This burden weighs heavily on their lives. It is rightly said that justice delayed is justice denied. Therefore, I believe that this guide will assist in bringing the much-needed hope by reducing the number of land and land-related cases that end up in our courts.
These guidelines should find their way to Parliament because you need regulations, and without regulations, you're going to still have a problem.
Their sentiments were echoed by the chairperson, National Land Commission, Gershon Otachi, among other stakeholders.
Of course, a lot of times, national government, being the big brother, would want to use a bit more muscle against the smaller brothers. So we try to balance that to ensure that as we manage land, both for national and county governments, we ensure that everybody keeps to their lane.
It's also addressing pressing and historical injustice. While pressing and historical and present and historical injustice, whether seeking redress for colonial depressions, dispossessions, or present-day land grabs, the guide provides pathway for voicing historical grievances and seeking the resolution.
Structures, methods and procedures necessary for conducting investigations. It identifies the roles and responsibilities of internal and external actors.
The guide, which is anchored on Section 5B of the 4th Schedule of the National Lands Act, is a practical advisory handbook that is to be used by commissioners and technical staff to resolve land disputes and determine valid rights and interests in land. Serafina Robi for Lunchtime News.
The county government of West Pokot and Kerio Valley Development Authority KVDA have signed a memorandum of understanding for collaborative efforts towards the implementation of projects within the region. Now, the agreement that was signed by key officials including KVDA Managing Director Sami Noporos and West Pokot County Governor Simon Kachapin aims at promoting sustainable programs between the county and KVDA that will empower the communities in remote areas.
And we want to see to that issue of food security through development of pasture, development of irrigation schemes and so forth. And this will, in future, help to calm the region, especially areas where we have insecurity.
The areas of collaboration, as I highlighted already, we are in food security. The two major irrigation schemes, that is Lomut, which we are expanding for an additional 300 hectares. Lomut, we phase 3, which will be ready for commissioning by end of June. And the water infrastructure, and more importantly, the beekeeping.
To education matters now, Manyata Member of Parliament Gitonga Mukunji has called on the Teacher Service Commission TAC to absorb junior secondary school teachers on permanent and pensionable terms. The lawmaker says the move will boost their morale, improve their working environment and help them deliver. The lawmaker also expressed concerns about the shortage of teachers in the constituency, saying it has caused parents to shoulder the heavy cost of having to employ the Board of Management teachers to breach the gap.
Nitaenda juu chini kuhakikisha tumepata walimu wa kutosha katika Manyata constituency. Naomba Ministry of Education, kwa sababu tumewapea budget enough, tumewapea 3/4 of the budget. Maneno ya kupea shule pesa ipewe kipaumbele.
26 minutes past the hour. Don't go too far. We still have more news for you on the other side of the break. And of course, talk to us on our social media platforms at Abdiaziz Hashim 1 and at KBC Channel 1 so far.
In a world filled with uncertainty, there is one thing we can always count on: the power of compassion and generosity. Every day, families in Kenya face unimaginable challenges and hardships. They struggle to put food on the table, provide shelter for their loved ones, and access basic health care. But today, you have the power to make a difference. By just contributing 1 shilling and 50 cents from your airtime, your generosity can provide access to sanitary pads, nutritious food, clean water, education, and life-saving medical care to those who need it most. To support this cause, please tune in to your favorite radio station under the KBC umbrella for step-by-step instructions on how to subscribe. KBC Helping Hands. Together, we can make a difference and bring hope to those in need.
And if you're there and you have a child, possibly who didn't perform as they ought to have performed, both KCP and KCSE, where I sit as a pastor, I think I had to counsel a few people just to tell them this is not the end of life.
I think it's very important for the parent to try and understand the exact reasons why the child says they do not want the schools. Some reasons may be genuine. Apart from the grades, there are so many other things that you need to work on for you to be able to achieve your full potential in life.
A is not the beginning of life, neither is an E the end of life. Life is an open book, and life is dictated by many factors other than grades.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now, members of the public have been urged to report any suspicious cases in a bid to avert mysterious killings of women in apartments on the outskirts of Nairobi City. Speaking in Kiambu County, the sub-county police commander, that is Mohammed Badel, said security begins with you.
Speaking during an annual consultative and a get-together forum between Kiambu police officers, members of the public, business community and border operators at the Kiambu police station, Sub-County Police Commander Mohammed Badel added that Kiambu Sub-County has recorded a reduction of crime cases in the past 1 year.
Mwaka iliyopita hatukuwa na incident yoyote. Hiyo inamaanisha kwamba kulikuwa na ushirikiano mwema katika sisi polisi na wananchi wa Kiambu. So hii ni hafla ya kufurahia.
Border operators on the other hand say they have been able to identify criminals posing as border riders by using a QR code in their number plates.
Hata kama yeye ni customer kibeba na pikipiki ambayo haina hiyo QR code, hatujui huyo mahali anaweza kupeleka, lakini ukiwa na hiyo QR code, hata ukiwa customer upige picha, unaweza tumia mahali unaenda na itakuwa safe. So hiyo inakuwa na details za driver na huyo mtu ni wa wapi.
Tilio Marco for Lunchtime News.
Kilifi and the neighboring Tana River and Lamu counties are set to benefit from the construction of an 8-bed intensive care unit ICU at the Malindi Sub-County Hospital. The ICU is in phase 2 of the Malindi Integrated Social and Health Development Program that has been funded by the Italian Agency for Development Cooperation and is being implemented by the Coast Development Authority.
Speaking during a walking tour of the Coast Development Authority projects in Kilifi County, Cabinet Secretary for East Africa Community and Regional Development Penina Malonza says the 50 million Kenyan shillings ICU will boost access to healthcare services to the area residents.
We had quite a number of emergencies and critical cases that came up, and we didn't have an ICU in Kilifi County. So people were being referred all the way from Tana River, from Lamu, and from this particular county all the way to Mombasa Hospital.
The CS added that the project will include tarmacking of the 11.5-kilometer Mjanaheri-Ngomeni Road and the construction of a footbridge at Burangi area. Other projects being rolled out by the Coast Development Authority are the construction of education facilities, including school classrooms and dormitories.
We are also doing another dispensary at Burangi, and we are also doing 4 more schools, actually, where we are going to do the administration blocks.
Regional Development and ASAL's Principal Secretary Kelo Harsama stated that the government's commitment to address problems associated with the many years of marginalization.
Therefore, CDA, we are trying to build up phase 3, which we are going to do after we complete the project and do the project impact assessment.
Give us Minor, Lunchtime News.
Migori County has commissioned a 200 million deoxyribonucleic acid DNA and polymerase chain reaction molecular diagnostic machine PCR to enhance the provision of quality health services in the county. Speaking during the launch of the machine at the Migori County Referral Hospital, Migori Governor, that is Dr. Ochila Ayako, said that his administration was able to meet the approval and expectation of the donors and the national government, which was key in the acquisition of the machine. The machine, which cost an average of 200 million shillings, is one of a kind, as it has the capability of running HIV tests as well as more than 29 complex diagnostic tests.
It's a clean facility. It's a facility that you and all of us can be comfortable being treated here. Doctors, health professionals are wonderful people, but if they are not enabled by being given facilities that are able to tell or to estimate with accuracy what is afflicting or hurting or injuring you, then itakuwa trial and error. At this age and time, we do not want to have a trial and error. Na watu wetu wa Migori County, we want them to get the right treatment.
Still with matters health, women in Peketoni, Lamu County have been urged to seek early screening to detect cases of cervical cancer. While conducting a free cancer screening exercise in the county, Dr. Wolo Siganga, Lamu County Health Director, said that at least 15 women may be carrying the human HPV, a leading cause of cervical cancer.
Kitu muhimu sana ni kwamba watu wajipime, ujue mapema.
Mama wote ambao wamefikisha umri wa kuzaa wanafaa wafanywe hiyo kupimwa kwa muda
ili ionekane ikiwa mapema inapata tiba, inaisha kabisa.
Now, elsewhere, county governments have been urged to fast-track policy to, among others, provide for the deployment of herbalists in public health facilities. National Traditional Health Practitioners Association Secretary General, that is John Kamuche, says the move will help herbalists secure employment. In the meantime, herbalists under the Umbrella Association are headed to a local public university to formalize their knowledge in herbal medicine.
Tuko hapa Kisii kwa ajili ya kutafuta umoja wa madaktari na vile ambavyo wanaweza kuendelea. Na leo tumekubaliana ya kwamba madaktari tunastahili tufanye kazi pamoja, ili tuweze kuomba serikali yetu pia iweze kupitisha zile sheria ambazo zimekuwa parliament za kuweza kutupatia muongozo vile ambavyo kazi inaweza kufanywa. Pia tunahitaji research funds ambazo zikipatikana zitatusaidia kuhandi value kwa madawa yetu tulionayo.
A standoff between locals of Ngong Vet Farm continues to escalate after Kajiado North residents remained adamant that the land should be utilized for public utilities. The state land measuring 1,565 acres has been a bone of contention between the residents of Kajiado North and Kajiado West. Speaking at the heated public participation held at Ngong, locals said the land ought to be utilized for public amenities and projects.
No doubt that this land belongs to the people of Kajiado North. And we are telling government, because this land is available and technology has changed the use of land, that you no longer produce vaccines through the traditional means, the land that is not in use, you are allowed to use it for public good, not for personal interest. For instance, the residents of Kajiado North have proposed, let us have a level 6 hospital. And we are in agreement here that we need a level 6 hospital. We are also in agreement we need tertiary and technical institutions to be put in this land. We have people from a different constituency who purport that this is their land and they want to subdivide it. Now we are asking them, how do you subdivide public land? Which law in Kenya provides for the subdivision of public land?
And now let's make sense of the numbers. As planting season approaches, farmers have been urged to be cautious when buying seeds in agrovets following reported cases of fake seeds in the market. KEFI's Acting Director for Seeds Certification and Plant Variety Protection, Simon Minus, said all the certified seeds have a sticker with KEFI's logo with a free service scratch code, which helps in identifying genuine seeds.
Following complaints from farmers in the South Rift region, a team from Kenya Plant Health Inspectorate Service KEFIS made an inspection in several shopping centers in Kericho County, where 4 individuals were arrested for selling fake seeds.
2 of them were charged at the courts here in Kericho, and they were fined 100,000 shillings because of the offences. 1 of them denied the offence and was released on a bond of 400,000 shillings. And there is 1 who was just arrested and is going to be presented in court tomorrow.
While addressing the press in Kericho, Maina said the South Rift has been experiencing maize leather necrosis disease, and the sale of fake seeds will make the disease spread even further.
Every seed packet that is sold in Kenya must have that KEFIS sticker. So farmers are advised, if the seed does not have that KEFIS sticker, they should not buy the seed.
Maina said after inspecting 25 agrovets in Kericho town, Kapkatet, Litein, Kapsoit and Chepsion, 22 of them passed the test, while 3 agrovets were found to have opened the seeds and also selling without mandatory licenses.
There was an agrovet whereby the seller had opened seed. That is a serious offense, because the moment seed is opened and is being weighed out, there is no assurance because the seal has been removed. There is no assurance of the quality because they could be selling anything. The other ones we had persons who are selling seed without the seed seller's license, which is is mandatory.
Edna Murungi for Lunchtime News.
Residents in informal settlements in urban areas targeted for socio-affordable housing upgrade are demanding opportunities not only to provide labor but also to be subcontracted to supply some inputs. They are also calling on the government to lower individual units' deposits from 10% to 2% and increase the repayment period to accommodate their meager earnings.
14 informal settlements in Nairobi have been earmarked for upgrade under the World Bank-backed Kenya Informal Settlement Improvement Program (KCIP). The project is in line with the government's bottom-up economic transformation agenda better goals with a focus on affordable housing. During a 3-day stakeholder participation in Nairobi County, residents targeted for social affordable housing upgrades called on the government to lower individual units' deposits to accommodate their major earnings.
Itufikirie vile tutakuwa tukilipa juu tukiwekewa tena nini kubwa tuitishwa pesa mingi tutapoteza juu tutakuwa pengine tupoteze nyumba zetu tukose pahali ya kuishi unaona na nyumba pengine siende na watu wale wako na pesa
wengine tu wanafanya casual work huku kwa mtaa wengine wanaenda Isili. Si tungeomba tupate mafunzo zaidi na tutembelewe na tunaomba mradi situpite.
They are further calling on the government to consider them in subcontract offers of supplying some inputs. The Informal Settlement Improvement Program seeks to increase the supply of new housing to 250,000 per annum and the percentage of affordable housing supply from 2% to 50%.
The 10% deposit is it is a bit higher. If it can be reduced to at least 100,000 for a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom, it will be better, and then we spread the duration for payment.
The second improvement project is a 5-year project that aims to improve the basic services and large tenure security of residents in informal settlements. It is funded by the government of Kenya and donors and is scheduled to close in 2026. Frederick Muki for Lunchtime News.
Fish farmers in Naivasha are said to benefit from increased fish processing following the national government's investment in 100 million shillings fish processing plant and cold storage facilities in Lake Naivasha. Ministry of Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs Cabinet Secretary says the lake is one among others along the Rift Valley region of the water bodies that could change the face of fisheries in the country.
Fish farming in Kenya employs over 50,000 fish farmers, and a further 100,000 people benefit from the sector that contributes over $40,000 of the national export earnings. The Ministry of Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs now says the government has set aside 100 million shillings as part of interventions by the ministry to stimulate local production.
Tutajenga landing site ya budget ya milioni 100 ambayo itakuwa na chumba ya barafu, chumba ya kusafisha samaki na tuweke mitambo ya kisasa.
Mvurya has challenged beach management units to form cooperatives, noting that this would make it easier for them to get funding from the state.
Ni aibu kubwa kwamba tuanze kuagiza samaki kutoka nje. Tunataka samaki wetu tuhakikishe ndio tunaboresha sasa tuweze kupeleka nchi za nje, sio sisi hati kufanya import ya tilapia.
Locals have welcomed the move and are now calling for more support to curb illegal fishing.
Tunaomba funding tuweze kufanya mambo ya aquaculture kwa hiyo land ambayo tumemisiwa na KWS, tuweze kureduce the effort of fishing in Lake Naivasha.
Trevor Ngendo for Lunchtime News.
Internationally, South Korean battery maker LG Energy Solution predicted slowing growth in a global electric vehicle market this year, signaling further challenges ahead amid intensifying competition from Chinese rivals. The supplier of Tesla, General Motors, Volkswagen and other automakers reported operating profit of 338 billion won for the October-December period, up from 237 billion won a year earlier.
The profit is in line with the company forecast of 338 billion won, but it exceeds an estimate of 298 billion won compiled by NSEG Smart Estimate, which is weighted toward analysts who are more consistently accurate. Fourth quarter profit, however, dropped more than half from the previous quarter due to weak demand for electric vehicles in Europe. LGEA's forecast for this year's market outlook comes after its automaker customer Tesla warned sharp slowdown this year in sales growth for its cars. Meanwhile, train drivers in Germany started their longest ever strike to push the country's main railway operator for a pay rise and shorter working hours. The strike centers around a pay dispute between the GDL union and the company management. Drivers are seeking a $600 a month wage increase to combat inflation. They also want to have their working week reduced from 38 to 35 hours without any loss of pay. However, DB rejected the demands. The latest strike has affected tens of thousands of passengers and disrupted both high-speed metro services. Finally, China's railway network is expected to handle 480 million passenger trips during this year's Spring Festival travel rush, averaging 12 million trips per day. A total of 10.6 million railway passenger trips are expected to be made on Friday, the first day of the 40-day holiday rush, which will officially end on March 5th. Data from the online railway ticket booking platform 12306 showed that more than 20 million tickets were sold in a single day for 2 consecutive days since Wednesday. And from 12th January, when the ticket sales started for the first day of the holiday travel rush, to Thursday, a total of 230 million train tickets were sold.
And now let's play. The 2023 African Cup of Nations enters the knockout stage with enticing fixtures set to start on Saturday, 27th January, 2 days after the conclusion of the group stage matches in Cote d'Ivoire. Angola will kick-start the last 16 round against Namibia on Saturday before Nigeria collide with Cameroon. Undefeated Equatorial Guinea will face Guinea on Sunday just before Egypt plays Democratic Republic of Congo. All matches will be live on yours truly, KBC Channel 1. Can't wait for those mouth-watering clashes in Cote d'Ivoire. Now, 50 talented students, athletes are set to benefit from the newly launched KCB Foundation Education Scholarship Program. They will be awarded full scholarship to pursue their secondary education in Kenya by the foundation. The initiative marks the launch of the foundation students' athletic program aimed at nurturing future world-class athletes from underprivileged backgrounds. The event was graced by the reigning World 1500 record holder Faith Kipyegon and former world marathon record holder Eliud Kipchoge, which they lauded the initiative as it nurtured her to the top athletics.
And now I'm here as Olympic champion, so I think I'm inspiration. So I think if you see me here see faith in yourself. See faith as your role model. Because if I stand here and see you, I'm really touched.
We are sending people actually to international to go and study. You are a bank, and I trust you have the right banking systems. That's secondly. And that you are taking people to school. One of the wisest men once said this: when you decided to set out on a journey, do not seek advice from those who have never left their homes.
And now finally, Novak Djokovic lost at the Australian Open for the first time since 2018 as Italian fourth seed Jannik Sinner reached his first Grand Slam final. Now Serbia's Djokovic lost 6-1, 6-2, 6-7, 6-3 as Sinner regrouped from not taking a match point in the tie-break. It ends Djokovic's bid for a record-extending 11th title and the 25th major to put him clear of Margaret Court. From the Australian Open, that is all we had for you this lovely afternoon. Do join us in our subsequent bulletins at 7 and 9. But don't forget that AFCON, Eco, KBC and of course those mouth-watering clashes start on tomorrow all the way to next week. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. My co-anchor is Brian Muraru. Good afternoon.
In the name of Jesus Christ, Mungu anatarajia ukanyange hatua mbele. Wengine wametawaliwa na uchawi, wakati wao umefika. Wewe umenitazama siku ya leo. Neema na kibali cha Bwana kikawe juu ya maisha yako.
Ewe mwadha, wajua mambo ambayo binadamu anapaswa kuyatekeleza ili aweze kujikurubisha na Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Watafuta radhi za Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala zitafute kwa wazazi wako wawili. Waitafuta janna ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala itafute kwa wazazi